In this episode of Dig In, I'm going to tell you some things you might not know about watering in the fall and winter seasons. So of course, fall season brings cooler weather, the leaves start to change on the trees. It's a great time to plant, but a lot of us have been trained by Mother Nature to not water as much in the fall season. And typically that could be the case, but sometimes we run into some dry, windy conditions in the fall season. So it's really important to go ahead and water your containers, like your porch pots, hanging baskets, and newly planted plants. So if you just planted a bunch of pansies in the fall season, or maybe some trees or shrubs, you want to make sure to give those adequate water, especially in drier periods in the fall. So now winter season is upon us. It's a completely different watering requirements here. Typically, we're not going to water a whole lot, but if it's dry, you still need to water during the winter season, and especially if you see freezing temperatures coming. If a root ball freezes when it's completely dry, there's no water source for it to drink from as it thaws, and you can't get water to it because it's frozen. So we want to make sure we're watching our forecast, making sure that we see a freeze coming. If our plants are dry, we're watering, no matter if it's in a container, a hanging basket, or newly planted plants. Water it, let that water freeze around the root ball, and as it thaws, it can drink that water. So let's talk about containers. All of us are worried about our containers freezing and cracking in the winter season. We invest a lot of money into our containers, and we want to make sure they're going to last for years and years. With a ceramic container like this one, you can see the outside is glazed, so it's protected from the outside, but on the inside, the glazing doesn't cover the entire interior of the pot, and that pot is porous, so it can still absorb moisture. What you want to do is make sure that you got your drain holes free and clear so that it's draining the excess water out. And then also, if you've got these containers in mulched areas or soil areas, you want to put them up on a porch, a patio, something that's a harder surface, and you can even use pot feet. It makes a great way to allow that water to drain out and keep that pot off of a wet surface. If you keep it in a mulched or soil area, that pot can still absorb moisture through that soil. The next one would be terracotta. I absolutely love terracotta pots. They're a great look. It's classic for the garden, but they are very porous. They're designed to be porous. So you got to take a little bit extra care on these. A lot of us use saucers to protect our porch or patio. Make sure to dump the water out of a terracotta saucer because that'll absorb into the pot and add excess water in the container that can freeze, and as it expands, it'll crack your terracotta pots. So you want to make sure to dump that out. I like to flip it over sometimes and put my terracotta pot on that. That still protects my surface a little bit. You can also use terracotta pot feet. It's a great way to raise your planter up, make sure that drain hole is free and clear, and that pot won't crack during the winter season. So to summarize, make sure to pay attention to your plants, newly planted plants, lawns, plants in containers, and hanging baskets during dry periods in the fall when we're not typically used to watering a lot. Watch your containers going into winter. We don't want them to freeze and crack. And if you got a dry winter, make sure you water those root balls before it freezes. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Dig In. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you're experiencing with your plants during the fall and winter seasons.